Hi, I am Anaïs Crinière-Boizet and I'm a web curator at BNF.
Hi everyone, my name is Elise Girold. I come from the National and University Library in Strasbourg, and I'm actually representing my colleague Catherine Soulet-Sandic, who couldn't come today, but who is the actual web curator for the BNU. And today we're going to talk about the collaboration between our two institutions about creating and promoting the National Web Archive.
Okay, thank you, Elise. Okay, so to carry out its web legal deposit mission, which it shares with INA, BNF combines two complementary crawling methods. One broad crawl once a year on a very large number of websites, 5.7 million in 2023, but with a budget limited to 2,000 URLs per website, and what we call focus crawls, on more frequently crawled and with a bigger budget on websites selected by librarians in conjunction with BNF thematic departments, certain French regions, themes like AI or climate change, and events such as the Olympics or elections. While the crawling part can only be handled by BNF given the technical resources and skills involved, the upstream selection and downstream outreach can be shared. So BNF adds on its historic cooperation of regional historic cooperation network composed of 26 printer legal deposit libraries to extend its web archive and to enrich it with regional and local content. In return, thanks to access to BNF Web Archive in their reading rooms, the regional libraries can attract a public of researchers working on those collections and provide mediation to the general public. This collaboration therefore takes place at several levels: collection policy and selections, access, outreach to the general public, and support for researchers, as this table shows. So this presentation will start with how regional libraries can be involved in the collection building process, and then focus on access and outreach with some feedback from the National University Library of Strasbourg, the BNU. So first, collection building. As I mentioned earlier, BNF launches Focus Crawl on websites selected by librarians. This network of librarians is composed of two types of contributors: internal contributors from BNF and external contributors from regional libraries. To allow all of these contributors to work together, BNF developed a collaborative selection tool called BC Web, which is accessible both inside the BNF and outside on the web, and organized by collections to avoid duplicates. So using this tool, our colleagues from regional libraries can take part in several collections. Historically, the first collections in which regional libraries have taken part in were electoral crawls. BNF began crawling electoral websites in 2002 and opened the selections to regional libraries in 2004 for elections with a local dimension, such as municipal, departmental, regional, or legislative elections. Regional libraries select websites from public authorities, candidates, political parties, the media, and forums in their own region. For each crawl and each election, BNF sends a memo to the contributors to organize the selection work. It includes a schedule, technical elements such as the crawling parameter, a territorial scope, and a selection scope, so what they can or cannot select.
So the first experience of a collaborative crawl for my institution took place on the occasion of the general election in 2012. Since we took part to 6 different campaigns, on each occasion concerning a different territorial dimension, a situation of which our French administrative organization, with its multiple different layers, is quite typical of. This fact, which is particularly significant where Alsace is concerned, since the reorganization of the administrative frame in 2021 with the merger of several regions into larger ones, had repercussions on the perception of the regional identity, which is a question heavily debated on those elections. All these different collaborations led to the selection of more than 1,300 websites, focusing on monitoring the representativity on the web, both of local representatives who are running again for the office and for other candidates. This was especially relevant when observing how the different candidates make use of the social media as a new cornerstone of the political communication. They actually dabbled very unequally in that matter, which questions the representativity of political parties on the web as a new media. Of course, with the evolution from one election to the other, we might observe changes in that matter. These collaborative crawls rest on a team of 3 contributors who divide up the constituencies between themselves and make the selections according to the memo elaborated by our BNF colleagues.
So the second kind of crawls regional libraries can take part in is regional crawls. In 2013, BNF gave the regional libraries the opportunity to select websites related to the economic, social and cultural life of their region as part of regional crawls. 5 libraries now have a regional collection covering the regions of Alsace, Lorraine, Languedoc-Roussillon, Provence-Alpes-Côte d'Azur and the island of La Réunion. In total, they have selected 1,757 websites.
Well, like many other border territories, Alsace has a very specific history and culture which contributed to forge a rather strong regional identity. And documenting these specificities and their evolution through time is part of the duties assigned to the BNU as holder of local heritage. It is facilitated by its status as a printer's legal deposit library, which brings a large part of documentation to build the so-called Alsatica collection. Since the French Web Archive is considered as an extension of the legal deposit instituted for the other media, the BNU naturally adapted its documentary policy for the Alsatica to include this new media. And before entering this matter, a few figures first. So BNU was the first regional partner to develop a thematic crawl, a regional crawl in 2013. By now, 613 seeds have been identified, among which 470 are still being collected. They cover over 15 themes which illustrate the Alsatian landscape from different perspectives. And all this work is being conducted through the same team of 3 people with complementary skills. So 1 subject librarian specialized on Alsatica and 2 collaborators from the Electronic Documentation Service. They organize biennial workshops to update collaboratively the regional crawl. So if the classification for the native digital material follows currently the same classification plan as the Alsatica print collection, the Web Archive challenges the principles of our documentary policy. When collecting print material tended to cover as much ground as possible with a multiplicity of different types of material from a multiplicity of producers and local actors, which gives the collection its particular value, turning to native digital media implies obviously a more selective approach, an effort to reach representativity instead of exhaustivity. If some of the websites constitute an extension of the print media, some represent a completely new object, completely original and non-substitutable with the print. If you look at the evolution of the ephemera, for example, most of the traditional communication media for events like festivals, such as leaflets, brochures and posters, have been partially, if not fully, substituted by online communication. And even the municipal newsletter, which is a very emblematic type of document from the printer's legal deposit, tend to go online only now. So this constitutes a real shift for the Alsatica collection. Another example here is the local major newspaper Dernière Nouvelle d'Alsace, for which the crawl collects not only the homothetic PDFs, but also the website, which has its own editorial guidelines. A major update is currently being carried out to prepare the groundwork for the development of an Alsatic guided section, with the support of a trainee, including weeding, enrichment, and improved indexing of the collection.
And the last kind of crawl regional libraries can take part in is ephemeral news crawl, which was created in 2018 to cover the news as closely as possible and open to regional libraries during the COVID-19 pandemic to cover the crisis at local level. 2,290 out of 6,411 websites with the tag coronavirus were selected by regional libraries. And we'll now move on to the second part about access and outreach. BNF web archives can only be accessed within the research rooms of BNF since 2007, and in 21 regional libraries, first access deployed in 2014. Deployment in a regional library involves a technical installation managed by the library's IT team and BNF web archiving technical expert. It also involves a presentation and training of staff to ensure that the service will be well received by the public. And once these stages have been completed, mediation becomes the responsibility of the library, and BNF will only intervene in the event of technical problems or if assistance is needed for mediation.
On-site access to the French Web Archive is available in the BNU since 2015. Since access is restricted to research purpose only, we have deployed it in spaces designed for it. So one desktop, as you see, is accessible in our Heritage Collections reading room. Pre-booking is mandatory, and globally it is more adapted to individual use. Whereas we have another laptop with similar setup, which is dedicated to collective use and, for example, training, workshops, or collective working sessions, which are organized at the BNU Lab. Among the regional partner libraries, many opportunities are created to develop public mediation and outreach to make this new resource known to all kinds of public and hopefully future users, including students and school classes. Heritage Days, an annual national event, are usually a good opportunity to organize presentations and workshops. In the BNU, group training sessions are offered as part of our Heritage Collections training program, and individual appointments can also be made with a subject librarian.
As we use a customized version of Open Wayback, our archives can mainly be accessed through a search by URL, but we also offer thematic and edited selections of archived pages called the online guided tours in order to accompany the search by URL and to better highlight our collections. One of these 23 guided tours is dedicated to the region Lorraine and is a way to promote the selections made for regional crawls. Thanks to BNU, a new guided tour for Alsace is in progress.
So BNF and BNU are both active in developing research support and outreach, and in that matter BNF has obviously the leadership concerning the development of research support, especially in promoting the web archives to the research community. In this perspective, the Data Lab Call for project, covering all digital content offered by the BNF, is an excellent lever to raise the research community's attention for this kind of sources. They offer a large range of services from project engineering to outreach through events and training, including on-demand data crawls, assistance with data mining, data extraction, and general technical support. As partner library for research projects based on the web archives, BNU tries to raise the attention of the local research community for this media by explaining the opportunities linked to this source and the kind of exploitation that can be made, and we pair with the BNF in the project engineering. We offer a local access for research projects with a dedicated digital work environment adapted to researchers' needs, and we help promote these projects by organizing events and trying to inspire future projects. When a researcher's project is granting the special support by BNF and BNU teams, a tripartite agreement offers a frame for the collaboration. So here you have on the PowerPoint the main guidelines of these tripartite agreements, and I suggest we maybe get over it later because we're running out of time. Just a few examples of research projects that were led in the University of Strasbourg, and again you see very different kind of projects, and we can also review them later by the questions. outreach during seminars and summer schools, and now the perspectives for
Elise.
conclusion.
So just quick conclusions. Here are some perspectives about cooperation between BNF and regional libraries. So first, we think that it would be a great idea to extend the network, which is mostly composed of public libraries, to academic libraries, which was the experiment led in the ResPaDon project. Another perspective would be to enrich the collections by involving the researchers in the selection process. And finally, developing new services for researchers and skills for professionals like sandboxes or common training tools for BNF and its partners. And we thank you for your attention. Okay.